Well, I always remember when the year 2000, I'm back, and BB Mensen of Radio Gold fame. I catch him say, "Miss Yanka, and I'm a sereno." And what could here? Or them Tiani Bio yo, Bio yo. I've no more business. Na Bio yo, no, I had you. You know, what about here? Why I always call Bawku TV. Why? You MPP Beba on Beko, and this Beba on Beko. Bio yo. The BB Mensen, where the man they become my trash and tiny bukom ne la tebi okoshi. My tina man probina mentime be full sentence. You know, it's very bad. Move on, Chemi. A kuru kram sako wari was a crasa, kuru kasa kram enzima. Buruni or consima on Tiffy, Biomoyo. As you like, is it okay? And the casa de Ehunia Susia. Kasahodo is very, very important. What Ghana, how unim crane so Kasabebe, me and Sebika, and I nine. Now the French in Tibia, Spanish are one. Be an China, you know, what's your Chinese Casa? Cat Chinese Casa, so my kind Mr. Clemens Jato. Or cat China Casa, because or Kang on an IB. Hey, Ghana. Yeah, Chobia, it's another day. And I want to say the dark side of life in your banana abre for mame yami aduma on the 16th of May ebekwa ko jana na ya abre for na akokata ne mame echi e wo takrade nti mummy enhye ne so na ya abre for enko ta na chi okwan sonko so kra wasum Ghana ogusu sum Ghana na ne mame erade aton safra nti nana I'm your father baby obia no will be there to support and to help on the 16th of May, 2025, El Takrade. On the brighter side of life, what would do out there, Nebiano? Well, it's a happy birthday. And I'm for J. Makacho, AAA. If you do good, you do for yourself. Neba. We are privileged to be working with him or multimedia, hand say. You know, happy birthday. Na say ampofo agye ne papa ene amachi dede ene princess Ekofi ene oseba na hene na share dwom to ase ampadum way back make wori so abriu because wunyini ye nti ase ba nyimo de say twa ba bia wo ye papa wo ye fa saata mo no bo ahwere mu omo bre no you know ya wada so nyame ya adoma come and join me to celebrate my 50th birthday. Onyame aduma ya wada. Enti nka Ghana for na omunfi no. Baby I was going to you know, I'm blessed. I'm so happy that God has given me 50 years. I plead for another 50 years. And I know Onyame mercy is back here. So join me Thursday and let's celebrate my 50th birthday. Our multimedia and say. Now back to the studios. A potential deputy minister. I got 3.
Senior Mr.
A potential deputy minister. Now what a chief for some perfumes. What a chief for some perfumes. Maybe cool meaning can for some perfumes. Hey, when I got your mama is excellent. A potential deputy minister. I got 3 or 4. Onyame adoma Bawku West for better say ya call out Idia Enimpa Stuttgart Dexon Chair as one of our deputies na or the Enim Kama. So say or a member of parliament for Bawku West Osai Obia eba a good year mun sema wa bin you akosuku party bia da meka osha asie me kitikiti na na wa bro kwaye mu wo sa teacher ni onim kusibo wa branga sa Nyame adom o MP bibi adam hu na I really want to appreciate the Nyame ayewo na brabo ni be odina be he's worked for it enye na na ma for na movie say o can see ani na akoso blue there be offered through the mail into a refined product a gold or a refined product. It's very important. Akwaba
senior serving
your country through the NDC.
Senior,
we are very proud.
battle no so easy. So kai 2012. You could do primaries. Yeah. That as I say, you build a consensus on one candidate.
Yes. Yes.
2015.
Yes.
We were in primaries. But we baby are free bar. Very difficult place. 2016 and 2019 me sign when they primaries. 2020 and 2023 me when they primaries. And thankfully, here we are.
Yes.
It's been very tough battle and resilience a key. Because I quite remember, in fact, after 2016, a lot of key advisors and OC and yet possible to just go on with your profession there. But I said,
you still want to pursue
until the bones are rotten.
What has say that? What has that come respectfully come because mess was a call? No.
I'm what? Oh my.
And if free near Corona don't make me this you.
Oh my, but until the bones are rotten, I think
there's always hope.
Yeah, hope.
Very heavy.
Never say
oh
that.
Yeah.
Never say
that. Or your heart.
Never say that.
Never say that.
Oh,
they are body in our heart. Never say that.
Never say that.
Until the bones are rotten.
Oh, so I don't know how these two teams came with this. Very strategic.
Yeah.
It's the same as never say die.
Yeah.
A very important.
They are two strong teams.
Very two strong teams. Very strong. Motor Muyusu. Even in life. So we are.
Yeah.
So it's
continue pursuing.
Oh, say onipa beka se wo untimi ntrash we.
Yes.
But ejina wo so. Obi an ya ka asema to so. Eji ono no so tie we do see key advices. No. So advices omo nya boni o.
Yeah.
Enipa ni so no omo hwe bra wa bre no mfise baby edin de basa. Na wo bo bra mpo dada. Na wo pe. But resilience or rita so say tie bia no until say bones na rotten. Say this idea we no person inside eka ampa we no make the serious reaction of no.
Oh my, thank you very much. Na mestre menye two preliminary comments.
Good.
Quick one. Over the weekend Environment Protection Authority organized a workshop committee on environment, science and technology, and I'm a member of that committee. Na I did a course our best premier Western Hotel. I did on my Ghana yet gold mine so a carbon market. Carbon market. Climate change homes and some say initiatives are ye be reduce your carbon. Say ye in real tree planting. Say ye electric vehicles. Say ye replace ye charcoal and firewood with modern cook stoves. A bit save we emissions into the atmosphere. On my own, say a gold mine. Say. In the next few days, Ghana will trade 11,000 tons of carbon. An individual will be able to go into these areas. Unya land na who decide say would be area. Number 3 say be carbon will be offset from the atmosphere. You can trade it and get money.
Wow.
A big innovative area. A new area, and at the right time now. You become one sem. Enti mebo Professor Nana Ama Brown Kluchi. All the SU. Now training at your firm on my enya de ketwa. And there is a carbon market office EPA headed by Dr. Daniel Benefo.
Okay.
And workshop make us a eye opener. Committee members were fascinated. We will be propagating that. It's a new area. Mabunu, Ebenya Juma, enya millions of dollars. Areas they say, you know, we are in the era of sustainable development agenda. Everything is about SDGs. Everything is about climate mitigation. Everything is about reducing carbon emissions into the atmosphere. Now, activities we come with huge sums of money. A area you be explore. On my the tosumienu a course eba and ranajo as late as 11 p.m. Na my constituency. Yeah, Papa Thompson, one Thompson, several courses, and he was very emotional. Nena amano pay media district dear. E must stakeholders in yina enkanka yenuamwa e wo boko. Oman okan sembi or say ne ba e wo duties e wo boko area. Na nra ote de asi wo ho na report a onye free ho no for the past 1 week. Say 1 hour until ne ban nka ontumi nnedi. Enti say situation no nye civilians nkwa de casualties. Security for wo nyina no increasing number of casualties. IGP ko ho de si enti ye besre enkotudwe gu form say Ghana fo nyina oman account enti ana account mo maye ntran nkran enwe say bibia fo na anya de ye nyina betumi aye aso man ye nyena boko conflict no ye nya asomwie na oman no entumi entumpon esane say the situation is scary.
Yeah.
Say posifo a omokobo ban abambofo they are falling. Timaimufo a innocent people are falling. And nobody is safe. Nti ye besre stakeholders nyina say ye hwe na ye mfa yi ento yi e wo boko na so nwie mre oman no.
Yep, I have disturbing pictures here, auntie.
Very
disturbing pictures.
Very sad.
We'll talk about that in a way.
And moving forward on my enabling game when we need peace. So a babo konsema, I find it very difficult. It's to say commenting on the issues why I'm here. Now we inflame passions. It's a sensitive issue.
On the Boko matter,
we need cool heads to prevail. We need cool heads to prevail.
Godfather of Belgium. First now you are Lieutenant Corps, no Abetuno. They say no director.
For my first time, I'm listening to you. Say, "Oh, met na program." So this is one more. Do I overtake you?
Godfather of Belgium.
First of all,
nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to
meet you. It was a pleasure.
Can you know? And I don't know a penny. Until the mood. Until Ebiana Ora for anybody who more NIBA. Also already. The stewardship, no.
Oh yeah. I'll give you a lot of. Oh my name. To your thing.
Oh yeah.
You can't eat your jugba. That is me who ye.
Oh yeah. Hey, why are you? Fantina over being crazy.
Same papa and creamy.
Oh, okay. So the blend, no.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Never me fancy. And crying for father side, and I fight for father side.
Yeah, the person ends up learning the Ghana language more than one language, you know.
But me papa kasa ye be kan kran pepepe. But tani me ho sana me ma me kan kasa na aka and the change or the swift change is so seamless. Into sentence na ni ya bisa ye say what is going on? No me me nuanom na kasa na ye kan brofo. So it was good in the house. And then the other means say, "Who feel breakum the nanka we be man 30 minutes."
Many come no, sir. I hear the baby.
Oh, one man die.
Oh, say oh Godfather. You be able share. Oba nipa ne chance am na ko.
Na wa ton no krom na kaka na e esa na etinya besa na wo ho. Eh man akwa ba nyame adom.
Bibi e ko kama.
Nyame adom. Enche bia Dr. Blaji Mahmoud Baumia be starting a thank you tour no. To be call around because of the
where is Alaji Baumia statement? I've seen Kennedy Japan statement. Where is Baumia statement?
On what?
On the happenings in Bawku.
Maybe so. Professor Michael Kwe started the committee, you know. So it's just about getting to the end. He had to step back because no person ever conflicting where they are going around getting information. Now was walk around. Now we say, oh yeah, thank you, Tor. It wasn't going to be good, so he had to step back. But now, no, it's getting to the time. Say, Okonoko, good. When you say yeah campaign, you know, but me have visited 265 constituencies out of the 266.
Oh wow!
Yes, there was a reason why he didn't want to go to the Bawku Enclave because of some of these happenings. When you are doing politics now, I say we are extra careful. One share, because you want to win power at all costs, you go and say something or promise something, immediately want to me here. It will get to a time that people will now rebel. And already now, there were issues in Bawku. Serious issues going on. And he didn't want to come into the middle of all this because who person would mampeni? Who person would mampeni for everybody, not for your tribesmen or for one faction against another. Or supporting one against another. You know the problems that will happen. So you can say, oh, okay, we am in Crawford, and it will also bring a whole different because you open so he had to step back and make sure say everything we have to do to make sure there's lasting peace or honor. He was going to do it. Mestre, we should all take a lesson from this AE and Mestre politicians. When you are going around on your campaign, there are certain things in certain places you don't go and say certain things there. Because at the end of it all, it will come back to you. You are a leader. And the leader should be very careful when you and how you present it. When IGP call, as some when problems or their brain. You see the problems is brought to him. We should not rush in just going to promise and say things. It's a difficult thing.
A close source to the IGP himself. The situation also is not what we see or hear in Accra. When you're on the grounds, everybody's life is at stake.
Yeah.
It's Adibi Abayama Akomato Yem, ewa wana disa agrono. That in people agrono. You need to sometimes make certain pronouncements abema akoma.
Not on job issues. Not on job issues. So when you say IGP can't pose a born to say a born, yes. When you say President Kufo Yabono, Yamano water bomb order.
Oh wow.
Yes, they threw such a waters at a sky.
Even I'm surprised that IGP can is you, but they're coming
close to it. It tells you that the people are fearless. They are ready to sacrifice their lives. You don't joke with such people. How many times I can't about them? How many times now? Yeah, TV so you plead it to say we will plead. People are going there. Sometimes even people from within or move always have problems. No. I mean, I've said it. Say we should start bringing out the figures of the amount you are using to solve the Bawku problem. Because sometimes we be shared here just to make money out of it. Obiso no business no. Ekunwo ho no so yesika. You should be careful. Because the law of karma works. And when it starts, you can't stop it. That's right. Sika yese wo Bawku no. If they have used it to develop Bawku, Nanka Bawku be one of the serious hubs for international trade. Because it shares a border. And the business amo ye wo ho no. It dovetails into the Armenian about the resources we have in this country. We are sitting on over, I think, say 23 billion, say 23 trillion worth of natural resources. But who say we are not making it worthwhile. The pronouncement of Trump and Neno, I say who say it is high time we make something out of this country. I remember when COVID came. It's not TV, so I think I was here some of the sister stations. Now I can say, out of the COVID, we should gain something.
Business.
We should gain something. At that time, now a year friends, Europe, they were having issues with even the gas near Adia Yedefi Russia, and they wanted to cut ties. Omo can say. They are going to cut ties with them. No more in 5 years. 5 years and say Abba. And so we was on market a gas ties with Russia. And we are sitting down and we are not making money out of it. Why couldn't you also sit down and say that, listen, we have so much gas, Europe will supply you. 5 years now, we can sign an agreement. Now you supply after 5 years. And then look for every resources. That's going to go to IMF, you sort of host near the end. You invest in data. When you are supplying Europe, you know how much you get back to now sort out all these resources. We need to start asking ourselves, what is the end result? Then pa na share for this nation. Then na me na me kono me jama omai.
Okay, so the challenge continues to be, and fortunately, I was privileged to meet a very key, relevant person in Ghana's politics in your party now. And who is such a person, or you're tired with MPP, NDC, and the kind of politics that we are doing? This is a very key person. He continues his statement to say that it is high time more media. Me know young kokwana me yam from so. She menim na ka kire me. Na ehwe kwan be fa so asade no. Ebetimi correct no. But the mu yes say yi de. Any the enso yes say
survival of the fittest.
Nti o mining puntuo no. Ebekem de bia. You understand? So all the time we say me raise the basic issues because we have fantastic brains in this country. Omo ko abonti omo ko excelling mane broso. We have fantastic people in this country. What we are all refusing to pay particular attention to is our sense of patriotism, our honesty, our principle, and our quest say pesika at all costs, because money has been the definition for all the people in this country, especially the category we say they are the future generation. It is when I'm for our former for almost 16 years now. And so what we do now. Me come now and the 16 is too much for me, you know. I want to cut it to 2 years and be like who he has been for the past 16 years. He has been waiting. Patience is so boring.
Let me say 2012 or Kano. That was when I went to stand in Cape Coast. No muche mubieno. So, and I've been working since then till date.
So I don't know how. In fact, sometimes I'm at a loss myself. How we can coordinate well. And build a solid foundation. Because Stuttgart, because of religion, I'm here Stuttgart. How and then no crown and chebi our party for news and me only me close to hey, but how can a beautiful relationship we started 20 years ago be destroyed because of a certain you know?
And you see, it would be someone say. Sometimes when I tell the food soldiers, listen, an NDC person is not my enemy. You know? And earlier on, we were talking about it, say, he's close with a lot of MPP people in parliament. I'm close with a lot of NDC people. I know just make money information and we want to build a country. Exactly. We want to leave a legacy. That is the most important thing. By the time I'm 4 years, I'll be finished. Say, or Kobiomo, so one Kobioma has to leave a legacy. And that is what our people should start appreciating and understanding first. Yes, you can. Obi wa mama nisika pe we dey nsem ye den on pay scammer we dey oya to say on pay scammer
e say oya MPR
you
know what I mean?
And I mean that is the order of the day.
If you bring the schools now, a swap paper no cover bosso.
So
Okoye hospital wards kama
create opportunities.
Yeah, create opportunities for people to go and study abroad through scholarships and all those things. No. The basic requirement has always been that miracle. Minisika medibitiaka. Meba MPO no say na we won so a. Me na mitiaka next 4 years.
You face it.
Any over there kasa.
I had an issue. Obi ba me
problems be
I said Obi ba me just open juma. And I'm a man juma. In fact, there were about 5. I got 2 or 3 of them to get their jobs. Na a car be 2 each. Mohana Oshia me be on say me nkoto bi e ma no. Na me say me am mo ejuma no. As I say we nye ejuma good job awo ye. Me na say me to bi e ma na wo na say we to bi e ma me. Osi on say bi da.
So Ghana from Pamuchomunte, we all have a problem and we think that it's high time ebeti e wase. I said the discussion on the Amebe King. You know, some 12 years back, some 16 years back, I remember His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Kachre said, it's high time we pay realistic prices when it comes to our utility services. Masa, anka emsena they don't pay me pia. Ye riyam and they don't pay p. But reality has caught up with us once again. So I think today be a discussion. Me sure say ye the man yourself foreign pay. We lose the base because obi or baby if the system is not right.
Yeah.
These kind of things will continue to happen as but and the interview fan chiche you say yanu yeka. Until we hold on to yano. And they say godfather of the show why are there on Bawku crisis no. Or say I nipa be ABM free no general statement which I am very impressed. So when we start approaching national issues on that score, go to our social media. Amakache, Bekache Slusu. Then NCA Penyuan no say, Munke na social media. I'm here to speak to Sam George how they can manage our social media space.
Yeah.
I know too much of bad influence on us.
When you go
Too much of bad influence on
when
us.
you go to Dubai, there's certain WhatsApp area you can send.
You know, and abnormalities are becoming normal. I'm not a freak of that area. It doesn't mean that I don't, once a while, I don't, monitor what is going on. But what is going on then is very un-Ghanaian. Nyoma progressive, no, and they picky. They progressive, no, we ignore it. Even the discussion on the increase, it should be academic exercise.
Sure.
So it should be that on mine is here, basically, how do we work on these? Because a very normal, say abnormal in quotes, say over to my faculty maybe at 10%. Now if you occupy in Kanye Equa, no I 1%, but you need some common because it's not this government's problem. It will be Ghana's problem. About Webeba or Beko or Fufobeba, the percentage increase and all this will come up. We've not been truthful to ourselves. Honestly, but we've not been truthful. We take too much entrenched and partisan positions, always praying that MPP fails or NDC will fail, depending on who is in power. Who is actually close to the I can promise you. You be trying what's need you far. Till the contractor Timina could do no air coin. Busumi Siana coin idea. Now say.
I say,
and
nobody can call the
and then we are tackling the politician and leaving the contractor and the people who went for inspection. Omujina Ghana name a certified sequani papa itia contractor. So please, who's that? Yes,
it's becoming a problem.
When you boy said the so, obia or conscience. At the end, if it is wrong, a pricky one is Antum. That's what I'm saying. The moral fiber of the country, if we don't check it, the center will not be holding. Things follow apart. But a big book say, achia, and so emuye. So walk us through this morning on some of the.
Senior, social media, as if say, Minimenena, me research, Electronic Communications Act 2008.
Yes.
Act
I told you,
775. On social media issues and we share a year at 7.3 or a litany of offenses and punishments are Emma. For instance, we have 76 false communication. False communication implications, any sentence and a war, I will be to me, I could jail for 5 years. Now, interestingly, act and okay say false information and will define a person giving false information. Or say a person is taken to know that the communication is false or misleading if that person did not take reasonable steps to find out whether the communication was false, misleading, reckless, or fraudulent. For instance, Masendi post. Who repost to post to Nona a false poster. You are equally guilty. Law not say you should take reasonable steps to ensure say what you are reposting no correct. But and there obi hu ade na of and I'm very happy Honorable Sam George my assurance say he will sanitize the digital space.
I'll be so glad.
We are waiting say obe sanitize the digital space. Now on the issue of tariffs are or my okan once me. You sum it all. Say you play the ostrich. You bury your head in the sand, thinking say all is well. At the moment, energy sector debt over $3 billion. And energy sector will be a legacy debt. Legacy debt means President Mahama and President Kufuor, and President Atamos, and President Kufuor over the years. Successive government decisions, no lack of courage. Say ye be share ye energy sector no enti ya pilot can go a bedroom pointer. The system is at the pointer a breaky. And on mine, sadly enough, who come a constituency Brikun Wester. I think that one of the most affected areas in Ghana hardly so be 24 hours and Kenya ejinaso. Is that what we want? Say ye be charge realistic tariffs. Na ye put two structure in place and na uko VRA network. The equipment are completely obsolete. Go to Domfete, one of the fast-growing communities in Brikun West. Edura numerous 7. Who are be kanya so fee in Kanya, low current, because Sikeni home they expanded transformers near there. And this conversation, as you were saying, a brasson, saying in our paper on the table, do we want to continue along this path? Your energy security is threatened. It is politicized. This year proposal about for increase. Now it has become politics. People are comparing.
I'm saying
increase or yeah.
Exactly
they are
so.
comparing with is
Exactly
the
so.
way to go.
So we never
I
get
think that political angle non to now realistically how do we get ECG, VRA,
they should be talking to us.
Gridco to operate effectively and provide the energy security we
want. If I'm waking up this honorable, then I'm expecting to say, when there's a proposal for this increment now, my thinking has always been that let's get to the drawing board. Let's argue the figures out.
Exactly.
And see whether
all stakeholders here wait a to me are proper up now. But sometimes because of politics, PURC be the 50% proposal and the government will shoot it down and say take 10% for fear of public reaction. Meanwhile, that increase may still not be enough to effect any serious change. As we speak, IPPs, independent power producers, we owe them in excess of $1.2 billion. Sikana hine be free aba. The conversation they said they work we need to reset. Now, kwanya, especially economy be lifeblood, energy security. You are talking about industrialization, energy security. You are talking about development, energy security. And the energy one area I think that we should not politicize. Say electricity, say fossil fuel, say renewable energy. Let us have conversation and ensure our energy security. Yenya reliable energy across the country. And no, never propel more minor. I think that we've hit the nail right on the head by bringing out these issues, energy issues. It is about time I yet nase. Na yehwe kwanya yebefa. So I remember when President Mahama and no mind can one seminar, I think that we should commend President Mahama because in the past he took certain bold steps, and in fact I'm sure it contributed to the defeat in 2016 when he brought the ESLA. That was met with fierce resistance, especially by Yemiamu MPP for Parliament. They even boycotted. But he said he was faced with two evils. One, total shutdown of the energy system. Or two, to bring out ESLA tax so that some money will be raised to help defray part of the legacy debt. In fact, the 3 years Odi Kanye was extended to 5 years. NPP by it continued. Omuhu said ESLA was contributing something onto the table, a reduce, and he knew very well at that time that was unpopular decision, yet he took it to save our energy systems. This year, we share proposed 14.75. Social media monitor, people are comparing, say, during the tenure of Nanado, one to say the idea. But the question we ask, and they say, one to move and Kosoro. But at the time, free honor, not Kassang and Abedao. Is that how we want to go? Because, yes, Abino absorb greater part. Meanwhile, Abino needs to cannot do it. The power producers, any distributors. So if you go to our public institutions, Abaya yes obey to your mobile secondary schools in the idea. He has no money to pay. And only the Amakano Yakasiano. If you go to disconnect, it also has social implications. Secondary schools, how do you disconnect them? Hospitals, how do you disconnect them? Eti ebrason say yebetria tariffs ebeboa na yetumi akoye nim. Having said that, the power players and so a huge role to play. Distributors, now transmitters. If you look at the transmission losses, grid core too high. Understand? Transmission losses near the account for about 30%. You go to our communities. Yenko Mikrob, New Kraso, or Jene Brekum West District. Communities in our bois or more peoples near the SCC connected or per meter at the boss said, Obetrian bill, they are not getting them. So, yes, I know man, they were encouraging to say illegal connection because people want the power. Bring the meter, levy them for them to pay. Meter also asanya koya mine and never pay meter. I mean, when your secret. Well, meter no one more calculate 2,000. Answer meter who pay a 2 bill no. So say meter na koya problem because power players, distributors, ECG, Netco, you are complaining. Okay. So Jessica, so put the meters, make them available. People will pay, and also a 80 or more key role to play to reduce their transmission losses, reduce illegal connections. Who reduce you can bring in a lot more money because leakages, so huge.
And also, boy, members about so now, the Kenyan I be soon to say Dogo be no abill. Good morning, Omahine. Kindly tell the NDC honorable member in your studio that we shall do everything with politics in Ghana. I'm watching you, pa. I see. Resetting agenda.
And one obsessed with politics. Yeah, praising Mahama.
But he needs to. When there is a need. When there is a need. No, when there is a need. Who praise the Nado where there's a very bold decision.
Esla was a very bold decision.
I'll come to that. When you want to take politics out of everything, take it out. What is the duty of the president? To make sure
to ensure
work.
that
is his work, and we are paying him for it. It's not for free. We are paying him for it.
Think through and give us.
That is what we expect you to do. I won't come and praise you for doing your work. I won't come and praise you. The only praise I'll give you is to vote for you again or vote for your party again. Say, want to me year. Now we catch him say, hey, there are losses. You starting losses now. Now I bet losses be more than the praising. If you want us to go into politics, I have the list here. Make year upon year under NDC from 2009. The only time I'm increasing in the 2009 year. They can increase. Electricity tariffs. Are they? MPP hereby, we reduced it the first year, but we brought it back. Then after that year, increase it to the last 2 years. Comparatively, if you are going to praise her, Ubeka say, oh, Nanado are here because in the whole 8 years, The cumulative percentage increase in electricity tariffs was 57.45%. Cumulative.
Okay, you
for the 8 years, no. What's your NDC 8 years
but
now?
But a debt of over $3 billion.
What's your NDC cumulative now?
Legacy is a building. It's a building.
The American home over $1 billion.
Okay.
Yeah, discussion. With you would be my dear. What's your NDC cumulative for the 8 years now? 294.6% cumulative for the 8 years. Buy no. You see reset. Ma yet ye once say. In fact, in the reset no, we be ye ejuma enwumre mpo a we will reduce tariffs for you. Yes, I no kai. Into where from the increment. They made us believe say 24-hour economy no. Part of the benefit is say we are paying high tariffs until they reduce it in the evenings. Yeah. And I remember I asked them a question. Say, Massa, say tariff nankasa ye problem. How do you come and tell me say they are overcharging you in the evening? Into a hot time over to reduce tariffs. Were they lying to us? And then we are you remember the World Bank? One of the directors made us understand. Say the IPPs now Mahama signing by heart no man call into serious debts because we are paying overly in the your friend saying energy sector. Maybe let's Google and we'll see. World Bank director, he said it. The over your friend say over subscriptions of IPPs no in a Mahama Jama Akufo-Addo no it brought about a huge debt into the energy sector. But nyame otiasia onim said Nanado had a good heart no. Make sure say in the 8 years no. Doomso no. Because we said it was a funding problem. And we made sure that funding was made available. And ne nyakopan dom almost shall see ye. Almost buy almost say na ye we cables. Na ye we away. Na ye we away. 12 containers was how many containers na about 8,000 1,500, almost 1,500.
ECG figure, they have about 2,420 containers. The committee also established a difference of about 1,200.
Yes. It made us understand and appreciate, say, there is a problem at ECG. That is the first point of tackle. You see, let us not create debt. Say, oh, publicly, say you increase tariffs. Say yes, sir.
It's not the way to go.
It's not the way to go. I ask a simple question. Me say, what is the use or the aim of an ECD MD and a GRA MD? Can't we create a credit account? Would the containers serve? That is the total cost of the containers. You can say $100 million. Now, make it very clear. I've created an account between me and Yatina. Say, you create an account. Say, you have a total container of 100 million SME because I need to take it out before demurrage. Okay, don't forget that demurrage, you know.
Mama Sero, Nami Kuchan Homra.
Okay.
Meba, you continue from demurrage.
Okay.
Yakwaba, thank you. Yakwaba is okay. Yasaba, Ubunya bite to the problem. When there's something ladies bite, Ubunya bite. We have something lady. Good morning. Maybe I'll be the host of News File on Joy FM. My chair on the lawyer form go law firm on. Well, on the
Pato.
Yeah, Pato. Me am Pato.
I say I didn't know family godfather and I know so no hono. No, so you near pa the MP.
Yeah,
Pato.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pato.
Pato say I am a brother.
Even before Pato, the only bussy.
I am a brother.
Hey, there's a media. So that what be more?
It's me do a GRE.
Yeah, that's good.
Now we have an MD of GRE. We have an MD of that's what do you call it? Commissioner General of GRE in our MD of ECG. Every month, GRE to electricity across the country, and it's millions because Omohon Wokwa lights is 24/7. I didn't know to me be account. No one can say GRE. Your friend say ECG more account more with us ni more DNA so that we now compare and see how we can strike out a difference. Instead of containers AC porter demurrage so echo outside. Why should we pay a foreign company demurrage? Why should we spoil our money like that? when we've taken leaders to lead and to take decisions on behalf of the company. Now yet now you say okay. It's high time you start working and asking people to work for and behalf of the country. If they want us to stop partisan, then when they are campaigning to, they shouldn't be partisan. They should come with the real facts. Even this increment, I'm sure I say, year 57, no, more year 290 cumulative, no. Yeah, no, almost say, electricity tariffs no do, so do. We'll be increasing for salary by 10%. We say dollar, ni day, ni way, na crude, ni adhere crude import by form. So we say crude, ni dollar, ni adhere, we increase electricity tariffs by 14.75%, or say 76%. That is electricity in kwa. What I'm being. Meanwhile, dollar no so control. Just ABR in their minds, and they are going to increase their dollar and make something out of it. Dollar no control. Crude no so and control. Into increment ni fihi. Let us start sealing the holes in ECG. That is the first and most important thing. My idea is to say containers ayera. What has happened?
There's a committee.
How are we getting those people involved in that theft? Why should I pay for someone's incompetence? I didn't say me for
but
someone's incompetence.
When the OSP was vetted, no, Adebakwa, Honorable Stuttgart, Odeba, Mania Japan, maybe Adamekase, me who said or implementing was the issue of making sure that the KPIs, but to our director generals, the chief executives, no, na the reason for them to stay or otherwise.
Yeah.
Because okay. All these irresponsible acts on management of certain people, no, it will be our bed.
Sure. Me na say me go to for it.
And then unfortunately, the politician and him, and the Bekwakoji will be irresponsibility.
Yeah. Then it will come and turn MPP, NDC.
Exactly.
Increase
then
or not
the
to
core
increase.
people on my from so no. They are left of them.
Now, Omomo will enjoy his scan, the booty. Those who are involved in those containers, those who sold those things, those who planned and destroyed and made debt. Come to ECG.
That's true.
They should be held responsible. And I am not to pay for it. The ordinary Ghanaian is not to pay for it. We'll send it to the right end. Attorney General go yifi court because the party aba into unipa your bonia. So you saying you now we yifi court. When you start that, I'll start doing politics with you. When you tell me to praise Mahama for bringing Esla, and let me debt millions of dollars of IPPs to pay every month. You think I'll praise him and leave that? I'll bring that to in. Who should pay for the debt? Say you say you giant partisan now. Me, I've always claimed that for any president to succeed, he should not be partisan. Because when you become president for all. But the way Omar started almost including Techimenson. Including the Chimenza. How much your money need? I will do me. And you expect me to come and sit here and be happy with you. Because the ordinary person where you need to do me, says, how is he going to pay the electricity? Or renting baby, how are they going to pay electricity? Or BFE ABA constituency, Brekum West Aba. Say, your fan Maritime Authority. Wa be rented dying. Wa ye juma 6 months. Wa ye juma 1 year. Then all of a sudden you come and you promise us 133. Now we dey tune you chain. Say ye be ye juma ba. Ma 24 hours na no be ye juma 133. Ananya 133 na mo kanu.
Yeah, juma ba could be 3 times.
So 133. Yeah. Mu wie say na mo be ye 24 hours sacking. Every 24 hours omo yi nkrofo edi. Every 24 hours, omo demoting go forward jumem. And the TD say, obi aye promoting the time omo echeno, they are going to demote them under the umbrella or under the authority of the your friends chief of staff. Why should that happen? And the Ghanaians.
The TDC man himself or chief of staff? The
TD man said
the chief of staff hasn't issued any via to that effect.
Or say only chief of staff kasa or say
anything official from the chief of staff is not verbal. It's not so TDC papa so they're okay but hold on. You know, who know we did show be edim keke.
Edim.
Ade bia a free chief of staff for baby say office need dimu na so muntina. Ye the good crata so the nchiremu ba. now as TDC paying can say only we could income. If there's nothing effective to that criteria, please stop it. What happens when you you know,
TD reverses appointment and promotion. See, speaking to we have followed the instructions of the chief of staff by reversing some of the appointments and promotion.
So he should also let us know that letter that came from
chief of staff.
The chief of staff.
The publisher.
It could be deceptive. Kind of
and people, you see, but when before we even get to that of looking at the letter from the chief of staff, no, in the first place, the person who was promoted at top grade, no, was approved by a board. When you get to a certain level, it's the board that approves. General managers near there. It's not the MD. Every promotion in a employment of the organization is approved by a board, because the board has a fiduciary duty to make sure that the company runs and runs well or not. So if there is any debt, any problem, to say ECG, you can say with some payment charge you. They send it to the board. The board are the first people who suffer that. So even as an acting MD, when you have not been given a substantive position, you have no right in sacking anyone or in making sure that the person is without your board approval. That is one thing they don't know. Corporate governance. They need to take their time. So omo pese o mambuni ye omo nsi abotre.
Omo resetting Ghana.
Resetting doesn't mean sacking people 24 hours.
Omo pese omo resetting Ghana year.
Omo pese omo resetting Ghana year. Thank you very much. A good resetting what? Say much you say red. Resetting wahano.
Because they promise us the Ghana we all. Omo can say they want.
Na say the Ghana they want.
The we all. They cannot be.
We all. Now we you go for say obi amana 6 months. 6 months to elections. Now you say be win and you be lose. 6 months to elections. Obi wo ho aye juma 2 years. 3 years. Obi 4 years or chairman appointment letter. Ye yinedi. Omo ye dia omo ye cleaners edi. Na cleaner na all coffee no. Obey to electricity tariff 14.7%.
Asemba Susuka. As I speak to you now,
Senior,
there's a huge confusion coming up at the education sector. You know, the deputy director of Director General, Ghana Education Service, a whole lot of issues. You know, there are several letters. It's sad. That's another serious matter. Deputy Director General of
Ghana Education Service. I know Ghana Education Service is a standalone from Ministry of Education. Even though they work under them.
Yeah. It's scandalous.
Mesreomo. Muhammad Nini Julius Debra Nini Crawford. Say tree break.
But what does the chief of staff takes instructions from the you know
the chief of staff and the president are like this.
Okay, so
say chief of staff catch the president say me
focus shifting from tariffs number.
What's the tariffs no?
What's this to God no?
Nina Mami Landewa. Well, Nina your tariff payment. Because we Medina me continue fear. How can I pay? Let's just say illegal beshas here.
Okay.
We Medi na say I mean near Juma. How do you expect me? And I'm a rent now for 1 year, sometimes 2 years, even though it's illegal. 2 years rent payment. Intimate na dynamic can am drain. Okay, Stuttgart.
Senior, ideally, unim say mempe say be go back. Akoshe 2017 what happened. Enti mempe say me reference, but say the exaggerate or more you omwedi no. You remember
resetting
after the election transition. The incoming government, you know, and the outgoing government, ever into agreement, say, after the election, hold on with all appointments, all promotions. I'm a spokesperson that time, Felix, at the Krata Babonten said, someone who do on appointment, new promotions, when the new government comes. I mean, so most of these people affected, you know. People who fall into that category after December 7 election.
No.
Apart from that, we a public servant, official of the state, who ye juma. Na ye UAD, say why ye juma 6 years, 2 years. Na ye dismiss. So my things that there are processes. ubetumi afa so. I expect say those who think they were validly employed,
they are going to do that.
And omonye boni bi ayi omwadi no. I mean, labor courts or they should activate the processes. But most of them are after 7 December. We know. In fact, said you know say Ghana for any form or more year jumano. So Ghana for so monso year jumano be ye. After 7 December, most of the people affected those that fall into that category. If there are isolated cases of people are genuinely or say wrongful dismissal, I will encourage say or activate all the legal processes available to them. Having said that, then on the electricity asema na senior eka ho aseme yedi kanyaka one said you be plug the hose leakages, you be reduce distribution and transmission losses, grid code transmission losses, distribution losses, ECG, any net code ni ade nyina medium long term measures are guha yedi benya sustainable energy and the energy security ne be guarantee. In the meantime, IPPs are owed over $1.2 billion. You know, over $3 billion. Eti yen to tariffs na yen blocky host yen way. How do we pay them? Because most of them have threatened shutting up. Now the argument is President Mahama since IPPs be brave hona all these IPPs are now amount for your argument from their side is we have more generating capacity than we needed. Yet di dumsona and ananado na moye averse to it. But the fact that na nkania no nyina so na edundum no, several people were suffering, people were complaining, but you refuse to use the name doom so. Enti enya entirely true say more time na yenya electricity challenges. But the point is, if you increase by just 57% over 8 years and leave a debt of $3 billion, our system collapse here. Is that the way to go? That is why me praise President Mahama said it takes a courageous leader. No one said this may have political ramifications, it may have political implications, it may have implications on the fortunes of the party going into election. But he decided, say, for the sake of the country, for the sake of our energy security, that's why I said there were two evils on the table. Bring ESLA, bring taxes, increase tariffs so that we can sustain the energy system, or do nothing and get the entire system collapse. Because trender, now President Kufuor with over $3 billion, say any change in the buy, and President Mahama reverse the trend. The system will collapse because IPPs are threatening say, "Yen to your car, shut plant." Where are we going to get money to pay them? If you decide that you won't,
but President Mahama is not able to pay when he's leaving office all the debts.
Oh no, not all. But the ESLA brought in a lot of money, and MPP admitted said, in fact, it was a major boost. But for ESLA, enka $3 billion in that enka by now you tremble. On my maybe you know na the game changer. Wa unuya honorable Erikupu.
Oh, the problem you.
Obekaya 2024 Abatwowi. One of the key players are Omoma NDC bar power Okamo as ranking member for Food and Cocoa Affairs Committee in Parliament. Uhunu kwan ofa so ye adwuma cocoa issues near there, and in fact the press conference are Greek issues. Top notch. And among the proposals or the buyer, President Mahama feed Ghana. Over the weekend, I was Techiman. Feed Ghana. Feed Ghana no. On my own Montiasiano. On my no.
Mention Bitiaka Chim, you'll be saying, maybe I agree for Bitiaka. That'd be fantastic.
The leadership of Erikopoku are great. Now President Mahama.
Challenge you, Jira Thompson.
So
but feed Ghana.
That's the game changer.
Feed Ghana. The best.
Airtime.